Okay, welcome all to the March 6th meeting of the Dudley Board of Water and Sewer Commissioners. Just to advise everyone, this meeting is being recorded. And call this meeting to order at 6:32, and we start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we can sit down. Yeah, thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff. The agenda's there too.
Minutes for February 7th.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for February 7th as written.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. 51 Airport Road. Okay, I think is that the third time now?
Yeah.
Yep.
They've no-showed?
Did they contact
Okay.
us between the meetings? Or we just keep them on the agenda?
No, this is the third time they've asked to be on.
Oh, okay.
For the exception meter, yep. Nobody here, 17 George Street. They're not here either. That would have been a little bit more complicated. Correspondence from Ty and Bond. We don't really have any
Nope.
at the moment. There's a couple more change orders I know that are going to be coming down the pipe for the treatment plant. And I know there was a change order was submitted by GEG for the pavement repair that they did on West Main Street, but that's in the hands of Ty and Bond. Other than that, I don't think we've heard much of anything from, been quiet. The next two we're gonna have to put off until Brian gets here, because he's got the information on that. Number 9, secondary water operator vacancy. George has asked us to, as they had a resignation of a laborer about a month ago, and they want to refill it with a licensed operator. So they want to fill the position rather than filling it at the labor rate. They want to fill it at the secondary operator rate. Which will require it to be,
Oh, look at that.
well, which will require it to be licensed. The person to be licensed.
Distribution.
Right. So,
Can we say what licenses? So every time we tried to write these job descriptions, they got changed from what we wrote.
yes. This one is one of, this is what we approved.
It says 1T, 1D, and we're a 2D system, and soon to be a 2T system, so.
Yes, on the secondary level, though, it doesn't have to be full, does it not?
Well, it has to be full
But full, but it doesn't have to be
at the level.
up to the level of it can be one level below.
So there's another area of concern to worry about is that the regulation states that you have to have a primary distribution operator and a primary treatment operator. So if you're just filling a secondary operator, you've got you as a primary treatment operator, we still don't have a primary distribution operator. So theoretically, the primary distribution operator position should be filled.
There's the plan to discuss some of that during the executive session.
During the executive session here.
Yeah, after this meeting, at the end of this meeting, because of union negotiations.
Well, I can tell you the state won't accept, we're waiting for union negotiations
Oh.
when they come in.
I know.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
The state won't.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah, that is, we're working on it. But I don't know, how can we discuss that?
You should
The
just,
positions?
yeah, it
Yeah,
depends.
okay, well, I mean.
As
we've
long
got
as
one-
it's just
we've got
position
one
related.
Should
person
be discussed in open
who
session.
is working on testing to D2, and he's been here long enough where he'll go to full. So that's in the works. I guess we can discuss that. But, yeah, we have to, in the meantime, it's just this one position, filling this position. I believe that depending on who bids on it, it's gonna be a move from sewer to water, for the most part.
There's only one other licensed person in the employee of Dudley who is in full. That is not currently in the water department.
Oh, figured you guys were on one of these floors.
Okay, so, you are, okay,
How you doing? Mark Bertolino.
okay,
Just,
just have a seat there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Have a seat and sign, and we'll come to you as soon as we're done with what we're doing now. So, yeah, they just wanted to fill that position and fill it with somebody. By filling it at this level, we're requiring a license. At what it was before, it's, it could be anybody.
Educate on the job at our expense.
Yeah. So, are you looking something up, or?
I just wanna check if they changed anything with the secondary operator.
No, I didn't see anything.
Okay.
Him, I can look this.
Okay, yeah,
up.
we can come back to that. So you are.
Mark Bertolino.
17 Oxford Ave,
George.
George Street.
Okay, so what is up with this? Want to give us a,
So unfortunately, I hadn't had a chance to talk to him since the last time we were there. So this last quarter, he was about 7,000 cubic feet more than his normal bill. I know that we've had some issues with his tenants not passing on information to him about having to change out meters. And I know that we had also estimated in the previous, I didn't know how long. The other issue is, my understanding from you was there was a potential, well, what you and your plumber thought was damage to the 3 water heaters, and one of them let go, or both, or?
All 3 of them let go, when 2 of them in 1 month and 1 a month later. While you guys were working on the street, I got pictures of the rust just pouring out of them, out of my sink. I mean, I didn't complain about anything. I knew you were working on the road trying to better it. But when I got the water bill, I was like, there's 150 gallons, those 3 just leaking, emptying and filling, never mind what leaked out. You know what I mean? And I was just looking for some consideration on the water bill. It's $2,300. It's always been about $600 or $700 a quarter, right? Right around there.
He's been consistently over the years just at between 3,000 to 3,900. There's been no other spikes there or whatsoever. So I would tend to believe in at least that it was an occurrence with his water heaters letting go. Don't know why, but
Well, my plumber is like, he was baffled.
But it was an occurrence.
okay,
Do you know how old your water heaters were?
6 years old. 6 years and 3 months was the first one.
Your warranty?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
7-year water heater.
yeah.
Yeah. But I just, I had to replace the 3 of those. I had, I have pictures of the rust just pouring out of it. Out of the tub, I had to go and clean with CLR the tubs, because the people were complaining. I bought water on numerous occasions just for them to drink because it was literally rust coming out of the water. I knew you guys were working on it, and I told them it would be good, and I bought water, and I didn't complain to the town. I just figured it was going to be, a little bit of time, and it would be all rectified, which it was. And, you know, like I said, I have a video of my meter not moving. You know, it wasn't like nothing was leaking, nothing, it wasn't like a
Yeah,
slow
there was
leak.
no leaks, no nothing. I have to agree that it probably was from the occurrence, whatever else let go through the water heaters. The other worry was that we had estimated, and I didn't know how many times we had actually technically estimated, where in case we estimated at 3,000 and where he should have been there 4, I would have given him the consideration of saying he should have been at least those 70 units of billing should have been in the second tier and not in the third tier, because that's typically where he's billed at. And that'd be at least the fair thing to say, that he's in the second tier demographic of customers. Unfortunately, that was only, I think, we found like
We estimated once.
and I think I could get, what?
We estimated at 3,000.
So I could get 900 cubic feet off. It should be into, at least that should be, actually, excuse me, 10, so 10 units should actually be in the tier 2. Otherwise, besides that, now that's at the board's discretion what you want to do. I can't make that other decision one way or the other.
We knew a couple months ago, the one on Tanner Road.
Yeah, the abate, we, in the past, we've abated the sewer portion of it. I've had discussions, over the past couple of weeks, Ryan, about this, but,
But in the past, Mr. Chairman, people come in and it's been a one-time occurrence, so we've abated some of the bill, because it's not on the norm.
yep, and what we had looked at is there's a portion of the bill that jumped into tier 3. If we cut that down to tier 2, or that's one thing we could do, or go to, well, yeah, there's any number of things.
Your first abatement would be the sewer.
The sewer, yes.
Right.
And
Without it,
and that's, I encourage him, regardless of anything else, to come here, because historically, you guys have been considerate of the sewer.
Yeah, 3,600,
So-
3,900, 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, 11,300. And then,
what was the sewer bill?
$2,200.
no, the
There's a
sewer
total.
portion of
The
it.
sewer portion
Oh, I
was,
don't know.
is, it upped him by like $300, I believe.
385?
Yeah, yeah.
Was the number that,
I think so.
What was the average sewer bill?
And that was over and above that was over and above into the second tier. I averaged that after the 3,900.
the excess, yeah.
The excess after 3,900. He's never gone over 3,900 historically.
I think Tanyard Road, we made the decision to abate the sewer bill, but she was responsible for the water bill, but I don't think it went into the upper tier.
Right, no.
Uses are-
I haven't seen one that's been that drastic.
Well,
61.
three water heaters alone to empty and fill, there's 300 gallons right there.
Yeah,
you know.
that's,
61 Brandon Road.
what's that?
You had the same, even higher than this,
Yeah,
and you abated the sewer,
yeah.
not the water.
Oh, okay.
Just so, and I can tell you the name off camera and you'd know.
But then we knocked it down from tier 3.
Nope.
No?
Nope, you only abated the sewer. That's, ever since I've been here, that's all you've ever done is abate sewer.
Yeah, because the feeling is if it goes through the meter, it goes through the meter. Running toilets, et cetera.
Okay,
Were those gas or electric water heaters?
Electric, sir.
Because I was thinking if it was gas, the pilot would have been put out by the leaking water, most likely.
Most likely, yeah.
Tenant would have called you immediately, no hot water.
Well, my tenant came home and 3 times said, dude, there's water everywhere. And I was like, shut it down, you know, what do you do? You know, I don't have I was thinking of having an alarm put on, but now I got 3 new water heaters and good water, so.
yeah.
I mean, I just paid, you know, I got the bills right here, you know, $1,500 for the water heaters plus the emergency service to put a water heater in, you know?
Okay.
can at least waive the,
You know, not even including the water that I had to buy my tenants. You know what I mean? The water was undrinkable for a long time. So, you know, if you could give me some consideration just on that alone. I mean, I bought cases of water for 2-3 months over there. You know, you sent a thing out to not drink the water. Memorandum or whatever you sent to not drink the water. It wasn't safe to drink, right?
That was
No.
a while back. That was
Yeah.
a while back.
Yeah, wow.
That didn't last for very long.
No.
We had the,
Well, that's another time I had to purchase, you know.
that was back before COVID.
Correct.
But I never came knocking and saying, hey, I have to buy water for my tenants. Hey, you know, what are you gonna do for me? I just,
Lose power,
things happen.
The
I get
electric
it.
company doesn't buy you a generator.
No, I get it, but, I mean, I've never used this much water in the 14 years I've owned the building, you know?
you know, the thing is, what we do for one, we have to do for all, so you have to justify it.
I think the issue also is we've had several absentee landlord problems in the last year, people coming in with the same issue. And I just say you have to be responsible for your property. Someone, a property manager or a tenant has to be responsible to look into the basement. What happened if you had a sewer overflow and it just filled the
I have
basement?
a guy that is, you know, he's in the basement apartment that, you know, he does his laundry in the basement, you know, so he's in there daily. There's not like it's unattended, you know?
You didn't catch this right away?
He did catch it right away. Well, he got home from work and the water was, you know, pouring out of the water heater.
I can attest, the layout in that house is if there's water coming out of that room, there's no way the tenant is, it's on a.
Immediately would know.
It's slightly raised, it comes down to the bedroom, because it's a basement apartment, and it would go at least into the bedroom, if not into the living room. I believe it was all same level, because having to go in there, because we had to move things around in order to see the meter, and I know where how it sat, just to be honest.
So what's the,
Just, how do we,
Seven.
if it went through the meter, how do we justify it? You know,
That's, we're talking like 50,000 gallons in one day. You say he caught that in one day?
No.
We're reading our,
3 times it happened. I don't know how many gallons poured out before he got home. The basement has a wooden floor built on it, so underneath there is dirt, the old part of the basement, so the water just went in and into the dirt underneath the joists. That's where all the water went.
7,000
Or I would've had a flood and I would've had to call my insurance company.
7,000 cubic feet is over 50,000 gallons. Off the top of your head,
No.
7.5 gallons a cubic foot.
Yeah. 7.5.
Out of water. I'm surprised your foundation's still there.
Yeah, well, I was surprised there was not as much, you know, we had to take the floor, it was a click-lock floor, we had to take it up 2 times. You know, the 3rd time, it didn't seem as bad, but that is a lot of water. I don't know how, and then the meter this month, have you monitored the meter at all?
Honestly, I haven't gone over and done the data log yet. So.
But you can log that now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you said.
so those last 2 were estimated at 3,000, but they were
Last
3,000 to the 2 before that, so.
One was
estimated.
Oh, 1, okay,
One.
that's 2, yeah, okay, these 2 lines for each.
I mean, if you can, you know,
Oh,
if you
one.
knock it down to the lowest tier, it'll knock a lot off the bill, will it not? That way I'm paying for the water and, you know what I mean, it's, I've never seen 3 water heaters go in a month. 2 within a week of each other. With rust pouring out of everything, out of the faucets, out of the, you know, I mean,
Do you know the brand of the water heater? Was it from Home Depot?
the ones I just bought were because that's what I could get. No, the other ones were, I have
I remember
pictures.
one time, not to say anything, some of those brands, the big box stores, they were all made in China.
Well, I just got 3 of them from Home Depot because it was the closest place in Oxford to go get them, and that, you know, that was, you know, you get tenants with no hot water. Not a good thing.
Just saying quality-wise compared to an American manufacturer.
Right, he's usually at tier 2.
What?
Is he usually at tier 2?
He's usually in the tier 2.
Usually in the tier 2 level. That's why the thought was to, you know, as one option.
Got extenuating circumstances, we could at least mark the bill down to the whole thing at tier 2. That's what he's averaged.
If that's what you think.
And then, get rid of the excess sewer charge.
That's what I was thinking, you know, before, but,
I'll put that in form of motion.
okay, well, good, so she can write it down.
Put
What
the
do you
bill
want?
in as tier 2. And then waive the excess usage of the sewer.
So what's excess usage for sewer? You have to tell me.
What's the average?
No, it's not excess. He should be at 39, so what was it 11?
So the difference between the 39 and the 11, okay.
11, yep.
I think, yeah. Yeah, I have some numbers written
So
down that were,
That's the
but those were,
$7,000 difference, I mean, excuse me, the
74.
7,400 cubic feet. You want that all to be charged at the second tier, not
Second
the
tier,
third tier,
right.
and take that off of sewer.
yes. Is that what you?
I just wanted to make
Yep,
sure.
Motion, yeah.
I wanted to make sure I had it.
Okay,
That was my intent.
Perfect.
I'll second it.
okay. Is there any further discussion? Oh, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Unanimous.
Should we
Okay, so-
figure your bill?
So she'll refigure it.
Figure it?
If you contact the office.
Okay, yeah.
Are you in tomorrow, or?
Yes.
Thank you.
Let me know what the readings are.
Yeah, I'll take-
And then when you wanna do I got that valve, if you wanna shut that down.
That's whenever you want. I can have somebody shut off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll get that
I'll
valve
get
changed,
through-
so if it ever has to be shut off.
Okay, so, back to the secondary operator.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Did you find out anything,
Yeah, it can be one grade lower.
one grade lower? Okay, so that's the way it had always been described to me, but, you know, if the state
Yeah,
changes it, then the state changes it, yeah.
They've changed things with new regulations, that's why I checked.
Right. So at the moment, that's what his wish is to do.
They could change tomorrow.
So is there any, is there a motion for that? Or do we need, he just wants, sign off from the board to,
Say we just need a consensus, I mean, it's not, not something we need to vote on, it's,
he could,
we've had a position open that we've said.
It's a position open, but it was budgeted at the labor pay rate. The reason why you want to go to you guys is it affects the budget at a different pay
Right.
rate. And that's where he just wanted to have.
we wanted to make sure we were okay
So
with
it
it.
was, everything was okay. So it wasn't just opening a position, it was a different pay grade affecting the budget, therefore it goes to you guys.
But the position's been open,
Yes,
has it been not filled for a little bit?
not filled.
now?
Hasn't been,
Phil, for
Logan left.
2 months?
Month,
Month?
a little over a month, yeah.
Yeah, about a
Yeah.
month, yeah.
Yeah, 1 month he was
We've got a
officially
month
gone,
on
but
the salary
it's
to
been about
offset
2
the
months with
difference in rate.
using time off.
We can use off the differential pay. There's a couple of sources that we can use.
There's money to cover it in the budget.
For this year, yeah. We just
Yeah.
have to adjust next year's budget. And when I presented the budget to the selectmen, I told them that there's going to be some changes, and there's a potential for changes of classification of some of the positions. So,
It's in the sanitary survey.
So it's not really a potential.
It's not a
it has to
potential.
happen.
right, yeah, no, but I told them that it's coming, but we just haven't had the ability to figure it all out yet. So do we need a motion or
Just a consensus.
consensus?
Yeah. Yep.
Anybody opposed?
Good.
Anybody opposed? Okay, great.
You know, you're heading down that road.
Okay,
Where you
so we can get that posted.
Sorry.
Eisenhower Drive.
Sorry.
I was wondering if you got hurt.
We're waiting on a quote on electrical. I know there was the correspondence from planning about the upgrades to the Eisenhower sewer pump station. And their understanding was that they were gonna fix it with money left over in the bond until that's exhausted, and then they were expecting that we were gonna pick up the cost of anything over and above that. Now, I know I've had,
Did we set them straight?
I sent a correspondence to the planner, telling him that though we have not had a meeting, so we don't have an actual vote, but that I know that there are at least a few commissioners that are opposed to the sewer users assuming any cost for upgrading that pump station. I know we've seen the quotes for the work for the rails and all of that was gonna eat up most of what was left of the bond. But the electrical, haven't seen an actual quote yet, but I've heard numbers that were gonna run it significantly over. I was hearing numbers around 10 grand to upgrade the electrical and alarms and all of that stuff, to put all the alarming and everything else in there that would be.
If not more, I don't know if you guys have a standard setup that you want on sewer pump stations at this point, where it would, right now, say they built a sewer pump station on that one they want to do in Jesse, how would you have them build that? Would you make them put a generator there? What would you do? That's from my limited thing on that is, once we accept it, we own it, and therefore there's not much else we can get on it. So I don't know if the town, from my understanding, isn't doing a betterment on the road for everything else that they want fixed, but there's nothing that benefits us. It's like, here you go, and it's on your dime to fix everything else. We have $3 million I&I coming up and $300,000 more dollars in our budget. So.
As I understand it, the electrical, and again, we haven't seen any, we haven't received a quote yet from the,
For electrical.
Lafleur.
It was through Lafleur.
But from what I understand, it was to put in the high tide alarming system that is not there, and the connections to be able to plug a generator in above ground. That doesn't include any kind of a generator on site. And that, I was hearing numbers around 10,000 or more. Which would throw this way over what's left in the bond.
So, question, Mr. Chairman, right now, we don't have a generator connection there if we had to go up there with our portable generator in the case of a long outage?
My understanding is that there is no generator.
We'd have to hire a pump truck
Yes.
to constantly pump the
Right.
well?
Yep.
Actually, we would not have to. It is not this is a private, is my understanding, this is private.
And that's because of the decisions that have been made in the past, who's responsible? It is still private property.
But if it's a public health problem, because it's not being pumped, is it the town's responsibility or sewer department's?
Neither.
Correct.
My understanding is we're in a gray area. Well, I have a limited
I
scope
I
on
know
this
it's a
side, but
gray, that's why I brought it up.
I'm not fully involved on that side. So,
Do we even have a right of way or an easement to go in there and work on it?
We do not. We've just been doing it.
So technically, we're not even legally allowed to go in there to work on the pump station.
Legally, probably not. But you get into the case of, you've been doing it right along.
It doesn't matter.
You kind of,
Just because you were doing it for a
past
while,
practice, the whole past practice argument.
That doesn't apply.
Right.
Just because you did it wrong before doesn't mean you have to continue to do it wrong. And if an employee gets hurt down there, you know, God forbid you lose somebody in a pump station that's not safe,
Mhm.
who's liable then? Now the town's liable for something that somebody was doing work where they shouldn't have been.
My understanding from Mike is that does not include the rails in order to be able to pull the pumps.
The rails have already, that's 6,000
But that,
bid
yeah,
that
but
we
that
already
was,
got.
that was already, there was something else with that Mike tried to explain, but
Okay.
I don't know what else.
Mr. Chairman, we need to get a quote for the whole thing, what it's gonna cost. to-
Well, yeah, we haven't gotten
And
any,
just pass it along to the corner office, and this is what the estimate is. If you wanna fix it, go ahead.
okay, because of the understanding on their part was that we were going to assume the costs. I've got written down in my notes to actually have a vote tonight, as to a motion and a vote or whatever, to codify our position on it so that there's no wiggle room.
This is being presented, excuse me, I
Yeah,
apologize.
okay.
It's being presented to the Board of Selectmen Monday night by the planning board for permission or the town planner to authorize the sum to be given to the water sewer department. So you're aware.
Also, Monday
Why-
night,
Yeah, I have a lot. Why are they not doing this job themselves?
This is just the information I have from the town planner, I
Do we know
apologize.
Why they're not just hiring somebody to upgrade the system?
the developer has basically walked
I
away.
understand that, but right now, it's the town's problem. The town should be fronting this and say, what does it need, and they should be getting the quotes to fix it and upgrade it.
I was gonna say, if they intend to put a betterment on the users over there, that should include everything, including the pump station.
I think the latest plan was that there would be that they were measuring the meets and bounds of the road to accept it, and that there was no need for betterments at this time to be able to accept that road. At this point, if they waited another 4 or 5 years, potholes start developing, now you've got a need for repairs,
So that whole road's up to town standards?
evidently.
Let me just read through.
This is just from conversations I've had.
I thought I just heard that the town was gonna get betterments, so.
I know the usual procedure is to test the betterment program and decide whether to seek the 51%. The planning board offered to host a meeting of the residents of Eisenhower Drive regarding the steps needed to get the street accepted. This could include a betterment option to pay for the layout and acceptance plans. I know the usual procedure is to invite the residents to a meeting at the town hall to discuss and let them decide, but I don't know if that ever went any further. I
I
wasn't
don't
part of
believe
that.
they had to do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they determined that they weren't gonna ask for betterments.
Like I stated, why is it on our laps, Mr. Chairman, and then
So
that
we
just
don't
takes
accept
care of the problem?
I think, and
That's-
don't quote me,
again-
because they had been doing work there, and there was discussions with the town planner regarding it, and that the planning board approved using the escrow funds to make the pump station repairs.
But we were doing work there because it was an emergency.
I don't know, I'm just
And
saying,
don't forget, these people have been paying their sewer bill too.
Right.
And the quarterly fee along with their usage, so you already opened the door.
But if they had
by stepping in
gravity,
it.
if they had gravity sewer, then they'd still be paying their sewer bill without us needing to take a pump station that we don't own or
Right.
isn't built to our specs.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we do not, the sewer department does not incur any costs with the upgrade of the Eisenhower Drive pump station.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Discussion. I know we've been discussing it right along, but
I will read you the email just so that you know what it.
Right.
Yeah.
The planning board approved using the escrow funds to make the pump station repairs with the stipulation that if the cost exceeds the amount in escrow, the $10,069.37, The water sewer department will cover the overage.
So he's advocating for the developer?
Yeah, he's advocating for the property owners, yes.
Well, he's advocating for the developer, because the developer didn't do it, he owns it, and
Skates
they're
free.
trying to make us pay to finish his pump station. This is a town department, that the planning department's the town department that's supposed to catch all these things to make sure stuff like this doesn't happen.
Or the town pays for it. There's no reason,
So I mean, let the town put a betterment on
The,
pay it out of free cash.
It's not fair to the sewer ratepayers to pay
Right.
for it.
Exactly.
I'm in agreement. I know we did sit in here with a meeting a while back trying to get that with the developer, and he basically came right out and told us, he said, you know what, I'm walking away, so you do what you have to do. He came right out and said it, so, I mean,
What are the
and he's
legal-
doing that,
What are the
so,
legal chances?
I mean, that's, litigation and
Yeah,
years in court.
years of money.
and-
He's retired, selling everything anyway.
Yep. He knows what he can get away, he knows what's gonna happen.
LLC is
and-
no longer in business anyhow.
Right. You just gonna walk away and leave it for somebody else to deal with. But, okay, so there's a motion and a second on the floor. If there's any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention? Unanimous.
So just make sure we don't purchase anything or spend any money. Because the way that was written is the only way we're getting that escrow money is if we agree to pay the rest.
Right.
So would you like me to send an email to the town planner and the corner office?
That's correct. Okay, number 11.
Mr. Chairman, now, do
Go ahead.
we not do any more emergency work over there because we do not have an easement?
That wasn't me, Mike Clerk. What was that motion that was just voted?
That we do not
Incur
Incur
any
any
costs.
costs.
We will not incur any costs.
So, because I'm gonna have to, if George isn't watching, hey buddy, is,
I would imagine he's not.
the way I would take that personally is that that means we don't even look at it, we don't send somebody down there to drive and look at it, that we don't grass around it, we don't even buy a gasket that costs 30 cents for it. That's incurring cost.
Right.
So what you voted was just that, just so we're clear.
I think from a legal standpoint, that's where we have to be. We don't own
Because
it.
we can't go on the property. Why,
And then in that case, because there's some people say that, I know maybe the corner office or anybody else, should we have, spend the $250 with legal to see if we're even allowed, just to confirm that we're not allowed, that way everybody knows that we can't even do this because there's no easement? They haven't even done that.
We don't have to be honest, we've never had a legal,
Just to
right, as
confirm.
far as I know,
Is-
to enter that property.
I'm just saying, so that office, this board, George, me, Mike, and everybody else is on the same exact page and there's no confusion.
Right.
That's what I think. I agree. We should probably get an interpretation from town council,
Just in case.
just to say, you do not have it. I mean, maybe there's something filed that we don't know about. I don't know.
That could head off arguments or even bad blood, where it would say, listen, a lot of our disagreements with other departments or people is just because there's lack of understanding versus in communication. So that's,
There's disagreement right within our own department, right within our
yeah,
own
just so we have
department.
clarification.
I agree.
So-
And then part of them fixing the pump station is getting the betterment fixed. So
If the
if
betterment's
we're gonna end
required.
up ownership in the long run, we're gonna need a betterment, so that's gonna be part of them.
Because we've already replaced one pump there, correct?
I believe that was under emergency basis, yes.
Yeah, we replaced it with using the escrow. But the thing is, now
We
the
dipped
escrow
into
is
it.
run down.
Yeah, we dipped into
We don't
it
have
once.
enough, I mean, we can continue to take escrow to repair stuff,
Not
but
if we can't get on the property.
we don't have enough escrow money left to do the remainder of the work. So, yeah. Okay, so
So would your question be, ask town council if we have the right to even step foot on that property?
What is
Take
our,
on any maintenance at
I
all?
would ask, what is our right and what is our responsibility?
what is our legal rights and, what are our legal rights and responsibilities for, as it pertains to the Eisenhower Drive pump station?
Yeah, because actually that would address Jay's concern, and a couple other people's concerns, that since they've been paying the base fee and the usage, what, that's gonna be their argument back, so at least we know, you know, is it a hill we're gonna die on?
But if you use that rationale, then I would say I would never accept any connections to sewer or anything if there's a pump station going in until the pump station's completely installed up to
Yeah, but
standards.
I
and
think we've kind of
accepted.
since made that decision. We got burnt here, no more pump stations on our part. That's why
Yeah.
we've gone with the E1s, et cetera.
This is
Never happen again.
this is just one of those,
We're learning. We learned the hard way.
the decisions we make now
You gonna read?
will affect somebody 20 years from now.
You gonna reach out to council?
So,
He didn't ask you.
we can get that all, yeah.
And I don't know if you wanna check with
Yeah,
the
look at
insurance
it.
company too, to find out what the legal what the ramifications are if somebody gets injured, or if we cause, you know, if we're down there working on something, someone forgets to turn the pumps on, now it backs up into somebody's house, you know, because we did something that caused that, as opposed to,
You know, it goes both ways.
There's a lot, yeah, what are,
Power outage, no generator,
right.
you know?
yeah, who
But if it backs up into
Who's
people's
responsible
houses,
for that pumping?
who calls in a pump truck to pump it out? You know,
Right now, it should be the town's responsibility.
well, no, it actually should be the property owners.
Contract.
Well, at least there's money in the escrow that would probably cover at least one more
Yeah.
occurrence
Yes,
until this is all rectified.
okay.
Don't forget you have to go back to 7 and 8.
Oh, yes, okay.
And 5, no, I mean 4.
They didn't show up, so.
This is the 3rd year in a row this woman's done this. I really honestly, if I wasn't here now.
Okay, are we done with Eisenhower Drive?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay, all right, so we'll get those and.
Would like to speak
Let us know.
On 51 Airport Road, yes, number 4.
Okay.
If it wasn't for the rate study and other things going on tonight, the water users would have incurred a cost to have a hourly employee to come here again when she hasn't shown. So I would rather just get a vote now, again, so we'd no longer entertain this. She had an exception meter that was somehow installed when they built the house. It was never inspected. It was never hooked up with one of our radios, so we were never in there for it whatsoever. She came back, I believe it was 2 or 3 years later after that, realizing that she should have a rebate. It was never inspected. At that point, we had eliminated inspection meters, and we had actually cut other people off that didn't make the deadline. So not only did she not make the deadline, but she's also not made the deadline for 3 years to come here. So I would just ask for a vote saying that it's not going to be accepted and there is not going to be a rebate.
This is, I know this has been on our agenda, at least, I think this is the third time.
We cannot refuse her to come to the meeting.
She can come to the meeting, but say it's been voted and it's closed. They discussed it.
she has to be on the agenda, right?
Yes, she
So we
did.
can address the issue, because she
Absolutely.
requested it to be on the agenda.
She did.
Whether she's here or not,
Yep.
so we can address that.
We've taken a vote?
Yeah, we have,
We've taken a vote along with your recommendations?
we have
I would
voted,
vote we don't accept an exception meter because we don't have exception meters anymore.
So moved.
okay, there's been a motion,
Second.
okay. For the discussion, that exception meter policy went into effect 4 years ago?
5.
5 years ago?
Yeah.
And this keeps coming up. I mean, it didn't get taken care of in the beginning, so. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous, all right.
Thank you.
So, water treatment plan update.
Everything's moving forward, pretty much on schedule. We have most of the alarms and everything else set. There's a couple of bugs to work out. We had some chemical feed issues working, gassing of the chlorine, so we're changing from 15% down to 5%, which puts us from 15-gallon jugs into 275-gallon totes, which in the loan and everything else, along with the plant, we were able to procure a skid steer, which will have forks that we can clear the easement with and take care of the property with under the loan, where we get 30%
That's one of the,
forgiveness back
that's
on
one
it.
of the,
What's the skid steer cost?
We actually have to get, they're trying to see if they can go buy it on source pricing or if they have to buy it through the contracted pricing, but it's gonna be probably, I'm gonna guess, probably in the range of 80,000.
less the forgiveness by purchasing it this way. And that that's one of the change orders that they're working on now. When we were talking about tie and bond earlier, that's one of the change orders, but I didn't say anything about the treatment plant because I was waiting for Brian. Brian's been pretty much the tip of the spear as far as that
How are you
goes.
going to get that 275-gallon container delivered to your property?
On a truck. We can't pay. Webco or somebody, it's under
You need a bulk carrier,
it's a hazardous, so we can't carry it anymore.
so you're gonna have to find a place to purchase it with someone that has a low bed, some type of truck where you can access.
No, Webco locally has a truck, they just, there's no lift gate. A lot of them don't have lift gates, so we have to be able to take it off.
Get in, you'll be able to get in with the forks and lift it and get it through the door.
That's
It is the
one of those change orders that's
the
being
best
worked
bang
on,
for our
yeah.
buck on the loan, along with the forgiveness, along with something else that we can use on dig sites. We can, later on, we could buy the broom attachment, we can buy a push plow attachment, not the actual plow, but a push, there's a bunch of different attachments if we wanna use it for other things later on.
Very versatile tools.
Yeah.
And during this spec, are you getting the brush hog? with
Yes,
it?
we get the brush hog, and we get anything that we can associate with the treatment plant and or the SRF loan, we can put on the loan where we get the 30% off.
Right, well, we gotta maintain that easement, which
So-
is not, it's not an easy easement to
Yeah.
maintain.
Looking at getting the brush hog attachment to be able to clear the easement.
That's all, that number is all in with all those attachments for that.
And then the extra, if we decide to get extra stuff for it later, we can do that.
If we use it elsewhere, it's gonna be more wear and tear on it.
Yeah. Not much.
That said, is for for the average hours on, like one of those ones on a construction site versus what, on and off a truck, the easement, it's not gonna be anywhere near as
A few times.
20-year.
violent
Yeah.
of
20-year
usage.
purchase.
or
Yeah,
anything,
that thing will be around for many, many years.
And you have a place to cover it down there?
Was it?
You have a place to put it under cover? To get it in
We're
the
working
building?
that out right now, like how what and how we are allowed to do that with the tier 4 engine, and can we just pull it right into the building where they allow us? So we need some clarification from what they'll allow us to do. That's before I do anything else.
Is there a second plan if they don't allow you
For
for coverage?
then would end up having to get probably a propane powered forklift and then buy some sort of brush hog or something else to clear the easement. It's totaling out probably, that'd be a little bit less, but not as versatile. We wouldn't be able to get anything else used for
The
it.
concern is, again, if they're not letting you keep it in the building.
The other thing is we could put it at either the sewer plant if we had to, because I will get deliveries, if I'm timing it right, I would need a new tote every 3 to 4 weeks. So, and I haven't run it during the summer yet, so I don't know what it's gonna do. And then how often we need to clear the easement, I don't know yet either, so. I assume that more often, the longer it's been established, the more often we'll have to go up there.
Has there been any more information about a mailer to let the public know that we're now?
No,
Meaning in-
the discussion I had was, because there's been some social media chatter or whatever else, which is neither here nor there, but to make sure there's no misinformation for people is what we're allowed to say and not say, because the DEP does handcuff us a little bit on what we can say scientifically or medically, is that right now, and for the past, since we put in the in the blending main, is we've been under the MCL. We've been drinkable water since that point.
We've been meeting the drinking water standards.
Yes. We reduced it, it was even lower when we were able to have the GAC vessel at Station 3 blending again with Station 6, which was even lower on the standards. At this point, going through the treatment plant, our numbers are non-detect. So we can't legally say 0, but it's at a level of non-detect going for people's drinking water.
I know there's constantly people saying, yeah, you can't even drink the water. I mean, it's the same keyboard warriors. But we need to get a mailer out, but we need to make sure we word it properly.
Derek is supposed to be working on it. Jeff
Timed on
sent
this.
an email that Derek would be working on it. It's just,
We haven't gotten it yet. We usually get a packet of stuff the day before our meeting. It just didn't happen this time.
I just want to make sure we say it correctly so we don't get in trouble with like, what we can and can't say. That's all.
We're probably also eliminating a lot of chemicals that may have been in the water that,
Right?
Yeah.
before that were within drinking water standards, but we've removed them even more.
GAC is the
Most universal.
yeah. It removes 95,
Moves
90,
everything,
95% of contaminants.
Okay, I'm trying to think of what else. I don't think there's anything else that I can think of for the treatment plant that, I mean, it's working.
No.
If we pay the bill.
Oh, yeah, that's,
No, hopefully the floors will be painted soon. We're functioning. I have remote operations from it. I can see it fully. Soon Luke will be able to. We just need to get him a or a better email, just because the system we use, they don't like having Yahoo or Gmails or anything else. They want to have a town.
yeah, no.
Anything to do with the
We're
water
just-
department should be a town email.
they had to order more licenses.
Yeah, so we're just waiting on that. So then Luke will have access, and then whoever takes the secondary, which I'm gonna assume is Timmy, it will have access, so everybody can be on call and address things. So it's gonna change how we run it.
Right.
It's gonna be a learning curve for about a month or two, so see.
Okay, anything else? The treatment plant.
I'm still concerned about not paying the bill, but
Yeah.
I think that,
Well, okay, so for folks who don't know, the cable was shut off. The charter connection was shut off last week because of non-payment of the bill. There were a number of, I guess there were a few different things. I heard something different again today, so I don't know all of what's going on. So what happened how did that happen?
When the account got set up originally, whomever set it up, which it was not set up by us, set it up for the mailing, for the bill to be mailed to the physical address of 12 New Boston Road, which no mail comes to. When we received a phone call from Charter regarding non-payment, I said to them, haven't received a bill. We went through the whole thing, spoke with a lovely person there. She documented everything, said no problem, emailed over the bill. I said not a problem, processed it. That was the day that you were in the office and Jay came in, signed vouchers.
Right.
It was February 21st. Got it sent over, and it went on its way from us. Last Friday, received a call from Brian that he could not communicate with the water treatment plant. I was on the phone to Charter by 7:30. Nobody's available to speak with till 8 o'clock. Got through, spoke with someone trying to find out what was going on. No payment had been received. Spoke with them for about 45 minutes, got the cable turned back on, everything taken care of. And then I had to send an email to try to find out where payment was, what was the delay, what was the holdup and everything. So then I found out Monday of this week it had been processed through accounting. So then I was waiting to hear back where it was through the treasury. And I'm hopeful that it has gone out. I could not confirm today with them, but I will confirm with them again tomorrow. And I told Charter I would follow back up with them, just, you know.
Does Charter have our address here now?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
oh, yeah, that was changed back on February 21st. And she said not to worry because we're a municipality.
That's what I was gonna say, I'd probably talk to someone at Charter saying, you know, this is a municipality, they just put the entire town at risk.
I was sitting in the office when she was talking it, and it's one of the very few times over the years I've known her where her inner pit bull came out. She hit him pretty hard with just about everything that she legally could hit him with.
Got us reconnected.
And got it and then, half an hour later, we were spinning again. Well, we weren't spinning again. Connecting.
And I told them,
Oh, I get the
please, anytime, anything, call me right away, you know, so.
Yeah.
Trouble is you weren't talking to anyone local.
I was not, I can guarantee you that.
Oh, yeah, y'all,
Understands the situation.
they couldn't
You
understand
know?
why y'all was
Yeah.
so upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a good day now.
Maybe you need to have a little more sweet tea in the morning.
But I was
Yeah.
not gonna be on the end of his phone call again,
No.
you know, so I know how to,
So okay, so that's,
Is there still issues with other bills not getting paid? I know there was a lot of conversation with that in the past, I mean.
I've been watching and I've had to call and ask for a few late charges to be removed.
Oh, jeez.
We pay a
Yep.
significant
So I am
portion of
watching.
someone's salary to not get our bills paid.
I am watching, cause I'm sure you all see the emails from me asking to get you, at least once a week, I'm, you know, asking for you to come in, and usually I get Jay or Tom was one day. And if I don't get a response in a couple days, I will hunt you down. So if you don't hear from me, then I have gotten, you know, cause I wanna make sure that they don't sit in our office, stop.
And do we have any accounts that we get
They're
a
right here.
discount for paying quicker? I know I have several that if I, you know, a 210 net 30 or whatever.
I think. Nothing that I've seen, but I'll have to look
I don't think
further.
we've ever had anything paid early.
No,
Well, I'm just saying, if it's offered that there's a 2% discount for paying within 10 days and we're not doing that, then I think that's a disservice to our customers if we can't
absolutely.
take advantage of discounts.
I will look into I'll look into them all and see, absolutely.
Thanks.
Oh, and just as an FYI, I know it'll come up later in budget, we did get our money back for rave, just before anybody, okay? Thinking of money, so we're good.
Okay, nothing else with water treatment plant. Okay, rate increases.
Yay,
Start that annual process.
okay.
And
Where become the head
so that
first?
everybody knows that other boards will not be surprised that we're doing this. It's been-
Shots fired. So, basically, the difference from this year from last year is we're just looking at the 10% proposed increase from tie and bond. That's the big, large one.
We are gonna have a public hearing next month for this,
Yep.
so this is, you know.
This is just a prelim to give an idea.
The presentation of the information and.
So if you look over on the right-hand side of it, with the projected revenue and the proposed budget for FY '25, on the water side, we have basically $130,000 shortfall, and on the sewer side, we have about $100,000 shortfall. On the left-hand side is the proposed increase from tie and bond, the rate study we've had done, 6 years ago? That we've been following. You can see in the tiers where the averages, I was able to pull some data from other sources that I've done, to make it so we knew what our average usage was in those tiers for the timeframes and the cycles. So you're roughly around 18,000 or 19,000 for tier 1, 18,000 for tier 2, and for tier 3 is 7,700, 800.
Oh.
These are for billable units, okay? So when I have these in, each one of those is for a bill. That's not 100 cubic feet, whatever else. Each one of those is billed at that tier. Billable unit is, one unit is 100 cubic feet. So the revenue that would be brought in by raising it by 10%, the total would be 237,000. You would get 43,000 roughly from tier 1, 61,500 roughly for tier 2, and 53,000 roughly for tier 3. And roughly about 80,000 for the base rate increase. Right now, that would give us, that would sustain the FY25 proposed budget as it stands right now, and put about just over 100,000 into retained earnings. We have no proposed increase this year for sewer.
I'm sorry, what is our retained earnings right now?
Roughly on water, I believe it was 800, and sewer was 1.2. But sewer, that said, is a lot of that, from my understanding, is going to be going to I&I and other studies. So that is going to hopefully offset some of the costs to the users, and that's why you have retained earnings. So it's at the board's pleasure or how we want to do this. My suggestion is, I know it's not much, but we could probably live without the increase to tier 1, who is our most vulnerable demographic. Either that'd be the fixed income, the older, the people who are less fortunate, the single family who are just trying to get by and whatnot. And we would only put in roughly 60,000 to retain earnings. Or you could do, that would also give everybody that's above that in the tiers a break too, but that would affect the people who are most affected by our rate increases. It's not much, but it's...
My opinion, though, we could do that, but then we're not treating everybody the same.
Well, you are treating everybody...
Because all the tier 2s and the tier 3s are also paying the tier 1.
Yes, that would
They
give...
all get the benefit of saving on that tier 1.
Clarify
People that are on
Okay.
fixed income.
Right.
On the other side of that
get
is
a
you
little bit
could,
of
instead of raising the base rate by $7.40, you could raise it by, for instance, say, reduce it by $4 and only bring it up $3 or $4, and that they still save we would still save the $40,000 would still go to a savings to the customers, and give them the option of how they want to save their money later on the rates.
I
So,
like that idea better.
I know this, it isn't much, but it's at least something, and we're still reasonably putting some money away. Typically, on our budgets on the water side, we return 3 to 5% back into retained earnings historically, but you can't guarantee that every year. You never know what's going to happen, or if we're going to have an occurrence, we're going to have to go right to the line. But we've been good about it. And I know that we've been unfortunately very heavy on increases lately because we've had to, because of the debt.
You said if we drop that from 7 to 4?
I would cut it in half. You could cut it in half, so it'd be $3.50 and 20, so it'd be $3.70, and it'd roughly cut that 80,000 to 40,000, and that'd be the same as eliminating the tier 1.
Then we're only putting how much in retained earnings?
You don't minus instead of 108, you minus 40 off of it, so you're 178, 168 rather. Excuse me, 68.
That's of the increase. That's not of, we typically turn back a 3 to 5% anyways.
Yes. So we unfortunately we have to raise something someplace. We have to at least come up with, I would say, just to be safe, 150,000+, and that wouldn't even really guarantee putting anything into the.
Right.
The other thing is, before next month's meeting, typically I would be doing a reading right 2 days beforehand. We're going to push it up 1 week before when I'm pushed through the meter repairs and whatnot, so I get better data on exactly what we're billing in the third quarter, the third cycle, which is typically that mirrors the fourth cycle. So we have a bet, just in case we're up or down on our estimates, but they've been pretty,
We'll have better numbers in April.
yeah, we'll have better numbers, but they haven't really fluctuated all that much from year to year. My biggest concern with some of my data the last couple of years was during COVID years, and when people were home and not home in industries and whatnot, but they've stayed pretty much.
Would you be comfortable putting that at $4?
What?
Instead of half, you'd be comfortable at,
I would be comfortable putting that at $3.70, the base rate.
From there up, yeah.
yeah.
That's the lowest you'd wanna go.
Or, yeah, that would basically cover the tier one raise for that demographic. And also if somebody says, you know what, I really have to pull back a little bit, they can allot not to water their garden or something, I don't know, but to at least relieve themselves of some of the burden. The second and the third tier, that is typically discretionary water use, especially the third tier. The third tier is businesses and multi-families and everything else, so they should be able to mitigate their costs through whatever else they do. Sorry, Nichols.
They can save by,
But on the tier two, again, that is usually multi-families or people who water their lawns or do a lot of care type
What's
of
it,
thing.
1,000 cubic feet?
1,000
Tier one,
cubic.
Before it jumps to tier two?
Yeah,
Anything over 1,000, then you pay that rate.
yeah.
this is 1,000.
Because I go over to tier two
Do we know how
sometimes.
many
Yeah.
customers are in each tier?
Well, we're getting there.
What does tier two, 1,000 to
To
what?
4,000.
To 4,000.
Typically, let's see if I do out the
And then
math,
anything
typically
above
about
four- this is
800
above.
or so of the bills are in the tier one, and that's out of the 2,200 to 2,300 bills that go out because they kind of, some are,
So say you got 2,175 5/8 meters.
So what a third?
100 1-inch plus, so 2,275 accounts.
yeah, you're about a third.
2275, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And where they're falling, yeah.
it's not much, but at least, best way to be responsible.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the sewer side, I would suggest being creative, because I wouldn't want to just put the money that we save them on this side over on that side. The shortfall, I don't know exactly what we can do with retained earnings, if we can say we're gonna fund the 100,000 out of the retained earnings. My other thought is, if you zeroed out the engineering line item for this year and put on a warrant article and taking $100,000 or $200,000 and putting it into an article to be used for engineering on the sewer side, you could reduce the budget by $100,000 and make it.
I use retained earnings for the budget.
Can we supplement our budget with retained earnings? Yes, you can. I
So-
thought so.
That way you don't have to do a separate article.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, I don't know the legalities.
We'd already discussed that when we decided on that money in the budget to not factor it in.
Where that's high enough, I think, where
Right, so-
with 100,000, we could probably,
If we need it. we
Supplement
have it.
that
If we
100
don't, It
grand.
just goes back to retained earnings.
it just goes back anyways, yeah,
That's almost negligible, so.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I would suggest no rate increase on there and supplement with retained earnings then.
But we looked through the projected for Webster stuff,
Yes.
so
That's accounting for that,
That's factored in.
that 300,000 increase, basically. Almost the whole increase on the sewer budget is Webster treatment.
Yes.
We're doing almost nothing additional on it. Electricity, I think, has increased a little bit, the ones that we have to increase. Other than that, we're not doing anything.
Mr. Chairman, if we fix the interceptor, we're gonna.
Well, yes,
So
that is.
Hopefully, we can spend some more of that retained earnings to help offset
To
that.
help offset that, yes, absolutely.
That's also, we don't know where, I'm looking at the budget right now, so you have the payroll line items, which are on the regular increases. Then we have the Medicare, the group insurance up by 10%. The only other things where you did the electrical, the communications, the retirement, you figured by 10% more, and the insurance, and the debt. So there really wasn't much else besides the shortfall we had with Webster. And increasing that payment by $300,000 a year. Almost 4.
That's for, we'll have a public hearing
Yep.
next month.
April 3rd.
And then if, we can either make a decision on at the April meeting, or we make the decision in the May meeting.
I would prefer you make the decision.
Decision in April, I know,
so I
because of
can
the
put
time
it-
frame. Yeah.
So I can get a stuffer
Oh,
into the bills.
Into the bills, that's right,
Because the bills won't go out right away, I'm sure, so.
right.
No, we can hold them to the appropriate time.
Absolutely.
But it's just, I would rather just push it so I get the data, so I can make sure that my estimates,
Yeah,
What we getting
they'll be
for
off by
those
a week.
quarters is
They'll be
better.
off by a
Yeah,
week, that's, yeah,
That's not.
that's all.
okay.
Did we decide which way we wanted to go on the water?
At this point, no. We won't make a decision on that until next month anyways. After, we have the public hearing, and then we can make a decision.
Can we have all those?
We can
figures
think,
before
we
the
can think
public
about
hearing?
it and,
You wanna have that information for the public hearing, so people understand.
Right.
How it's gonna affect them, that's what
Right.
you're gonna communicate.
we're looking to try to abate, to cut something out of that and cut it where it will affect.
But can you get us the information, what it's gonna cost if we left it at $7 and something, and then get that printed out for us and
Yeah, if you go, in all honesty, if you go to $3.70, it's gonna go down to 40,000.
Oh, yeah, this,
But I meant have it in front of us for the public hearing, so.
Oh, yeah, I can put them both on that, but I would rather have one, like what we want, what we
Yes.
want to put forward and
Yeah,
get the
that's a good
feedback on
idea.
it, instead of handing somebody a whole bunch of packets where they have to, well, what are you talking about, page 3, page 4, or so.
Yeah.
So
So what are you proposing on the base rate if you did that?
I wouldn't increase it by 10%, I'd increase the base rate by 5%, so it'd be $3.70.
where is that?
Down near the bottom.
Oh, there it is.
So increase the base rate to 370.
By 370, yeah. That would go from
And your
78,
gallonage
37
would- and your
to,
cubic footage would stay the same.
And the cubic footage would stay the same.
yeah.
In my mind, this is a fixed cost versus you determine what you're gonna pay on the tiers, so.
Yeah, by
Or if you-
conservation.
Or if you cut it in half, just round it off at $4 and it's over with.
The rate
3
doesn't,
cents.
once you punch it into the computer, it doesn't matter what the number is.
Yeah,
But this is based on the
For the base
10%,
rate,
right?
all the numbers here are raised by 10%, like if we raised everything by
Yeah.
10%.
What do we want, so you wanna make a decision tonight?
I just think whatever you're presenting to the,
Yeah, that's a good point.
they need to understand what they're going to a
Not
public
what
hearing.
we're, not what we're thinking.
Yeah.
Two options.
Right.
Yeah. Here's what
Okay,
we-
yep, okay.
Here's where we're
Good
at.
point.
Just in case somebody wants to come in and argue that, well, I think this is a better method because it would, help them.
Okay, our plan is to try to cut that increase basically by.
In your opinion, driving around, going to these
Pac-Man just
houses,
got beat.
a lot of individuals living in homes by themselves? One-
Yeah,
you know,
we have a good amount
Of
of that.
elderly, one person in the house.
The tier one, yeah, the
On the
folks
tier
in the
one,
tier one.
you know.
You said 800 customers.
Yeah.
I know
I
my
mean-
house typically rides somewhere.
In
that
all honesty,
area.
Me too.
it
Under
sounds
1,000.
Up and over,
Yeah.
once in a while.
sexist to some, assuming on people, whatever else, but if me, Bob, Justin, and Scott all lived in the same house, our shower and water bills would probably be less than my daughter and 3 of her friends
Especially
out
the
of
3 of us,
college,
yes.
so it's hard, but at least people have understand, like, but.
California household, yeah,
and-
that's a
and
lot of hair.
Different age groups use different amount of water,
Stereotype.
lifestyles use different amount of water, And it makes a decision. I mean, I know a lot of retired people, they love to have their gardens, but they have to make a decision, like, do they want a huge garden, or do they need to cut back, or they don't want to leave their hose on all night long type of thing, or be a little bit more conscious about it. I mean, at least we give them the option. If we take it off the rate and on the tier, that they've decided that they're gonna spend an extra $10 this quarter on watering a garden, that type of thing.
Or they could put a rain barrel in to catch rainwater to help offset a little bit.
Right. Yeah,
So,
that's, okay, so do we want to put that in the form of a motion, or do we want, is that just again, a consensus?
Really do anything. We're not changing the rates, so.
Okay.
Just, that's kind of the.
The proposal
Public
is.
hearing, we're gonna have to make a motion.
Yes, then, yeah, when we actually set the rate, but okay.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a 10% increase.
But you need
But-
to send something out to the customers, right, to say this is what we're proposing.
So usually what we do is we advertise in the newspaper that we're having a public hearing about the proposed rate increases. Don't go into a lot of detail. If they call, usually they'll.
Somebody's gonna call and say, what are the proposed increases?
Right. Usually I'll give them an idea of what you've been discussing.
You don't think we should put that in the mailer, though?
We don't send
No,
out a
there is no
mailer.
mailer for that.
We advertise, we have to advertise in the
Put it-
newspaper.
Okay, in the newspaper, put it,
Nope, you just
Nope.
advertise that it's a public hearing regarding rate increases.
And then
But we
they,
could put something on the website.
Yep.
yes,
If we wanted to have what we're proposing on the website.
we're proposing a 10% increase of water on the fiscal '25 water bill, with a 5%, with only a 5% increase on,
the fix.
the base rate.
Yeah, Brian could give me.
we'll call it a 5-10%, 5/10%
Yeah,
increase.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
base rate, usage.
Right.
With no projected increase in sewer.
right.
Okay. All right, I can just change around these things too, so people, that's easy enough.
Sounds good?
And of course, numbers are, all, the sheet with the numbers on it are always public records, so.
Yep.
Folks can see them if they want them.
Just so you know, you could also do the same thing on the water side that we did on the sewer basin. The 50,000 that's kind of outside of a normal expense.
Right,
So you could pull retained earnings to cover that cost, and it's just gonna go back into retained earnings.
it goes into retained earnings if it
You're
doesn't.
just trying to factor in numbers to figure out where you're standing, because right now with the, extra 100,000 going back into retained earnings, that's also factoring spending that 50,000.
Right,
That's not a standard expense every year, so.
right.
Just trying to point out that it's an appropriate use of retained earnings to pay for engineering for projects,
Right,
so.
And also, and some of the issues right now on the sewer side of it, we need the increase, but we're not allowed to, we can't count on at least $20,000 a year coming in because we have a moratorium. So it's,
Right.
we're
That's the-
spending money, we have to stop them to spend money to fix things so we can make money more, bring money back in.
that's the
So
yellow,
It's
the yellow on
a
the
somewhat
sewer.
difficult situation.
Yeah, we won't have new services and permits because we have a moratorium.
Well, it's on that end of town, so they can still have connections on the other side of the interceptor.
Oh, yes, on the lower side.
Yeah, but typically, unfortunately, I've seen historically is most of our.
That's where, that's not where the
Most of the
building,
development is
the
up
building
there.
isn't happening down there.
Also,
Yeah.
to make another note, I should have made another, for the new services over on the water side, the 15,000 is historically what's been come in. I didn't factor in the 4% infrastructure fee because I have no data to say how much we have coming in, or how that's really truly affected our revenue.
Right.
So I don't want to count on it for budgeting purposes.
You
It
haven't
wouldn't be
seen
responsible.
any new houses that aren't already on the system.
Yeah, I mean, we've had one.
One.
So besides that, and we're kind of got into, we also having kind of a lull of the building periods, so
Right.
until we have better data, I can't reasonably budget it,
Okay.
responsibly rather.
Okay. We all set with that? Okay, Jay Billings updates, they're still looking for more water sources. I mean, there's not much else with that. Oh, there is in the packets, Carpenter Pond Dam, they're gonna be taking that dam down. But that's in the, there's a potential water source there. It's still down on that side of town, but there's a potential, the aquifer maps, which are the big blue ones, they're blown in like crazy, but that's actually the first page of that shows that particular area. There's a lot of aquifer area under there. It's the same one that services Station 6. But there's really not, there is that paperwork there, and the Georgia just was looking at it and thought that might be, that's town-owned property, that might be a place where we can get some water.
But it is town-owned? That's the reason?
Yep. Up around the dam is. Okay, the annual report. We got that last month. I know there were some things that were asked for to be put into it. Those were added?
Yes.
Added in some statements about how much new water main was put in and how much replacement. As such, I believe that needs to be approved to go to the corner office for inclusion in the. I'd like to, I wanted to go through it and look at it and see if I could bullet it a little bit more, but it just, everything else going on, just didn't get to it. But I mean, it does describe everything that's gone on. A little wordy, but all in all, it's pretty good. So we need a motion to approve that.
Motion to approve it.
Okay, motion to approve, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstention?
I'll abstain.
Okay. So that's a 401. Okay. Warrant articles, they're due in on the 22nd of this month. As of now, there's one for $300,000 from sewer retained earnings to cover the sewer true-up.
True up, Webster.
True-up in
True up.
Webster. 80,000 left over from the 160 10-year settlement, and then 220,000 for last year.
Is that in a special town meeting article, or?
That can, typically those are a special. Those do go to the special in the fall, but we can get it done in the spring.
No, but in the spring, you get a special and an annual to clear up?
They just do one.
They just do.
They went to doing one. So, yeah, they typically push money articles to the fall, but where we've got retained earnings.
So then how come we had to go through a special article to pay that and we just didn't budget it? It's not available till July 1st either way. I mean, if we needed it available before July 1st, then you need to do an article to transfer
Well,
the money.
we have to use an article to spend retained earnings.
That was only for the 100
Which-
feet. pay for 80,000 of it.
Right, which would be
60,000,
done
sorry.
through our budget article where it says we're taking money from, raise and appropriate, retained earnings, whatever you.
Yeah, we could have done it that way.
Put it right in the same article. I mean, we're pulling retained earnings to pay for
Right.
the 50,000 for the engineering.
Yeah, it's just another way, yeah. Would have probably been easier to do it that way, but to build it into the budget. It would have been a one-time budget expense, though.
Right, so that's what I mean, you're just putting it in, that's why, and you just explain that if someone asks why you're taking X amount of dollars from retained earnings, you explain why.
Usually, what happens with that is Debbie puts it as an article, so we're locked in on it. Whenever we've moved money, she's put it as an article, so that, just historically, that's how they've done it. And then, because a couple times we've gone in, you have to go in and clean, like whatever's left over, you clean them up and you put them in another article.
Well,
and
that's
use
why I
them.
was saying if you do it as a separate article, now money sits in that account. If you didn't spend it all, it sits there until you have an article similar, and then you can roll them all in, and you got 10 different articles that you're lumping all together to do one. Whereas if you did it retained earnings towards your budget, it goes back to retained earnings.
Well, that's what this is to transfer from sewer retained earnings to the sewer Webster processing account.
That's just saying you're gonna pay the whole thing, but.
Right.
The sewer Webster processing isn't the article isn't our budget article
No, but it's a line item
in the budget.
in the budget,
But that's what I'm saying.
right. And I thought you were gonna pay it in full.
Well, we have the agreement for the 160 was 10 a month.
Right.
But whether we make them wait for the full, pay 10 a month, or if we pay it all at once, that's to be decided, but.
We aren't interested in our bank.
It's true.
If they
Yeah.
agree to the payment, she's paying the payment.
Yeah.
It's if they make the payments.
Yeah, we never came to a payment plan for the payment schedule for the 220. But in any case, that's, there was that warrant article, and I think the only other one was,
Past dues.
there was some unpaid bills wrapped around a sewer problem on Mill Road.
No, Mill Street.
Mill Street.
Yeah.
Mill Street. Streets are in town, roads are in the woods. But Mill Street, that may very well have been caused by a contractor who did a big job there a few years earlier. But because of the way the work was called in, the work was done, and their insurance is pushing back, they're pushing back. The bills haven't been paid, still trying to get that contractor, Borges, to pay for that. George told me this morning that the indications are that because it's been 7 years, they're not willing to.
We added them to a list that we no longer accept.
So, the bottom line is we've got local contractors who have done work and are still waiting to be paid. And, though we're fighting with trying to get it paid for by the contractor, is it fair to leave them hanging? So we'll take from retained earnings again to pay it, I think, what's it, about 10,000?
5,000, just over 5,000.
Was it around 5,000 for 2 or 3?
The concern is the chain of communications to the contractor. It
Right.
came through us, so.
We called the contractors and we ordered the work to be done, and then now we're trying to get Borges to pay for it.
We should pay the contractor because we ordered it and get reimbursed from the contractor.
And there, was it 3 of them?
It's
It's,
2 other people, yeah.
M&M, Drainaway, and.
All in one.
And all in one.
So,
I'd say we pay that.
So but that's another one of the warrant articles that's,
Yep.
it's being sent over. Other than that, they racked their brains, I don't think there was anything else.
no, you just have to have, because of what a warrant article for the shortfall, well,
Yeah.
next year's budget, right? Wouldn't you?
No, next year's budget is in the budget. That,
That you're gonna use retained earnings to put into the
do
budget.
we need to, I
It
guess,
should just be with the budget article. Shouldn't be a separate.
No, I'm just saying, I don't know how and where you.
Yeah, we
that's
just
all.
have to find out how we're gonna, that $100,000 supplement to the budget for, we just have to find out how
100.
that, do we have to create a warrant article to do that? It shouldn't, it should be part of the budget.
Right, should
Our
just be part
budget,
of the budget.
raise appropriate, borrow or transfer.
Right.
Um,
But you would identify that you.
We
would transfer
identify
X-
that-
X amount from retained earnings.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm just saying, yeah, we just, whatever you have to do, that has to be addressed during that.
The revenue statement on the bottom.
It's $100,519 as it sits as it stands now,
right.
which you have a whole bunch of different, which would have to be.
There's still, those
fixed as,
numbers are still moving.
Fall meeting, whatever.
Yeah, those
Last
numbers
minute
are still
changes.
moving, yep. So that's it for warrant articles. We don't have all the quotes in yet for the generator routine maintenance. That should be, to me, that should just be a operations. Enter into it and,
You gotta follow procurement law to be,
Right.
first of all,
Right.
we already told them we should have a contract on the generator.
right, they're looking at it. and,
It's just a operational decision for.
Yep.
Vehicle upgrades,
We gave it back from Enterprise. He was
Okay,
supposed to
yep.
have something for today, but.
commodity negotiation.
So I contacted National Grid, they, basically, that's their rate. So if we have consensus of the board, I can contact a couple of different brokers that I've used in the past to have them take a look at it. Because National Grid's obviously gonna wanna sell it at National Grid rate,
Right,
National
so.
Grid's outside of it.
right,
I know of at least two in the area, independent brokers that would negotiate on our behalf. Get them in here if you wanna interview them, or.
is that something that we have to stay with the town on, or can we
That's-
break away?
I don't know what
If-
that
if-
answer is.
You'd have to see how the contract's written with the town, because if they're guaranteeing so many
Kilowatts, yeah. And I'll go out on a limb and say we're probably the highest kilowatt user
Yeah.
for the town.
The funny thing is, they probably want to jump in on us, because we
Yeah,
would
school might be
satisfy the
close.
need for the, getting better
Yeah,
rates, I would assume.
could be.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about schools.
I've
I'll say on the
reviewed-
municipal side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've looked at what we use on both water and sewer, and there's definitely savings on multiple accounts that we have, so.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of putting it out on the open market.
But the town doesn't practice regulation now?
That's why I'm surprised.
I thought they did.
It's crazy they're not.
Because
They were
we
looking,
reached out to the corner office and we got back a
No
list
answer?
of people from National Grid, which was basically useless.
didn't
but-
they just look at going into a contract for that? I thought they had somebody come in for that.
I swear years ago when
They
Mr.
should.
Jankowski
Last
was
year.
here, the town did it.
But nothing has gone forward, and that was for residential users?
For residential users, but I thought the town was gonna be able to,
Nothing
Because
that,
collectively, if the town, if all the departments were one unit, you're gonna get a better rate, because you have more
Right.
kilowatt hours to offer, you know?
right.
So do we have any agreements with the solar companies that have gone in town?
I think that's what one of those company, the company that came in here and did the presentation.
Put a solar farm on well 2, old area.
I'm just saying, like, any of the solar farm,
At the
like, there's a
moment.
solar farm up in front of the high school, is.
Yeah, I don't
one on
know.
West Dudley Road, is.
nope.
And they, typically you enter into an agreement with the people putting in solar to have some kind of credit for the town.
I don't think we've done that with any of them.
I
So,
think the only one would be the one that they were proposing to do on the landfill.
Well, they're working there now.
Well, that's the
so-
towns, that would.
Correct, I believe that's the only one
That's
that
gonna
we've ever,
increase our electric usage.
so,
I'm just saying that, like, in
Right.
Douglas, we have private companies that put solar farms in, and we get a credit towards our National Grid bills, and. I
you
think
can
last-
negotiate that, I don't think they've ever
Right, you
negotiated
should
that.
negotiate something like that when they come to the planning board to,
Or if they did, they're not sharing it with
I would assume
The-
they're not
the-
sharing it with us, but.
the utility.
But typically, you try to get those credits towards your highest users. And like I said, in Douglas, we've got it towards the school, we've got it towards the water sewer, because we're the two largest users. And we had to expand it to other departments because we had so much credit. And we had to call National Grid and see if they'd cut us a $300,000 check because we couldn't use all our credits.
Wow.
So why the town isn't doing something like that is insane.
I'll dig a little tomorrow.
I mean, they may be, they're just.
You're gonna
utilizing it
busy
on the
girl.
other side. No, it's-
Okay. I stay out of trouble that way.
Interesting.
Okay, okay. Actually, 17 should be part of, I believe, because, oh, well, the job descriptions, we've talked about, I mean, we talk about these over and over and over again. We've got a group of them. The union ones, the ones that are union are different between what the union accepted at the last negotiation and what we accepted. That will come up. And then the two for the non-union personnel, again, are different. The only one we have is the ones that the one that's on the books is the one that came from the consulting firm. So that's still there. With there's a meeting for, well, actually we can, meeting for union, a management meeting next week for to talk about, I want to talk during executive session about what our priorities are for the union contract. Because those meetings are starting next week, 2 weeks. Then the next 2 weeks are starting. Budget. Let's see the current budget review. There they are. Engineering has gone over. Let's see, oh, that's sewer. Okay. We got the water budget, and we have to look at water first, I guess. Code red has been fixed. We should be at 65%. Overtime is high. Electricity, electrical is definitely high. Everything else looks good. The capital line items, are there any of those that are old, outstanding?
Capital.
Yeah, I know we were talking about basically those are all warrant articles.
No, we just recently, Debbie consolidated what she was allowed to by DOR,
Okay,
and everything else is standing.
okay. Is there some of them that are carrying a small amount? Okay. Any questions on water? Sewer? What happened with sewer debt? How did that go over?
Let me think. There was a new debt.
Who do we get the numbers from for debt?
Rich.
Poo-poo.
Chairman, where do you stand on the indirects?
That's in the process. Haven't heard anything yet from, has anybody heard anything from?
Nope, last I heard to him was last week, that he would be starting to reach out the beginning of last week, but I have not heard anything from him.
Yeah, that indirect study is ongoing.
Yeah, ready to start.
Okay, did you remember on what the debt service thing was?
I would have put it through as a voucher, and I'm trying to remember. There was something else that came through.
Probably an interest payment or something.
Yeah, I can go back and look. Off the top, I apologize.
Yep.
But it was
I'm
something.
just curious as to why Rich wouldn't tell us what the numbers are for that. We'd be off by 10.
There was something additional there was something, and I can't, I'll have to go back through the emails and look, because I would have saved it and see what exactly it was.
Did he pay an interest payment, an interest-only payment for
It might
next year?
have, it might have been, that's what I'm trying to remember.
I'm willing to bet that's probably an interest payment on next year's, for next year's debt. It's almost the reverse of what happened on the water side.
These
where
short-term loans that he takes, you
We
know.
only paid the hit where we only had to pay the interest payment, not the principal payment that fiscal year. This one, we didn't anticipate it being in the fiscal year, and it's probably the interest payment. If I have to guess, that's probably what it is.
I will double check tomorrow, but
Okay. Okay, any other questions? Okay.
If you find that out, can you find out when we knew that extra payment was gonna go in?
sure.
Just because it takes $10,000 away from your operating budget,
Correct.
that if we knew we were gonna do that before the fall town meeting, we could have adjusted the budget accordingly.
Okay, anybody have anything on the old business items at the moment? Okay, superintendent's report, we have a copy of it here. Boy, a lot of paper this time.
Any questions on it? I can try to answer.
Do we use all the meters that we had before? I thought we had to count some meters before.
I believe I have enough for this next go-around. If I haven't pushed because of being shorthanded and with all the construction, replacing some of the 148 serial numbers, the ones that are dying, and getting ahead of them. We just haven't made a push. The idea at this point also is the sewer guys are going to get some more of their responsibility since the meters pay for both sides, and that they can be put into the rotation or the responsibility of doing the meter changeouts and whatnot. So the next part of this fiscal year, they're going to have more of the responsibility to do the meter repair list and the changeouts.
Is that in the job description for the union?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all. I'm fine with that.
Did we get insurance to cover the 2 hydrants that were hit?
Haven't received anything back yet.
And did we do the work on those?
Yes.
Yep.
Second one got replaced today.
And you're dealing with the insurance?
I sent the information on Delaney. I did not know about the Mill Road one till today.
What do you typically charge? Do you know, what are you charging the insurance for?
You gave me, I'm trying to remember.
Typically put in for parts, labor, any vehicles that we've used, usually off the FEMA list of and charge appropriately for
So
the.
how much typically is the bill for it?
I
couldn't even tell you.
Just because anytime there's insurance ones, I usually just hire Bartlett, and they deal with the insurance, they deal with everything, they just
Perfect.
fix it, bill everything, and we don't even have to deal with it. But I don't know what we're billing, but I can tell you that they billed like 13 grand to replace a hydrant. I don't know if yours is up that high or not.
Nowhere
but
No way.
That's what I'm saying is
I can tell you that, no
We're not
way.
billing that much, yeah.
You're underbilling and you're taking up time that these guys, when you
Yeah.
can just have somebody else deal with it. Bartlett does all kinds of insurance jobs for
I did not know about the Mill Road one till I saw that today.
I know usually on any type of damages, whoever's been damaged has no obligation to reduce or limit the cost to the person who's damaged it. So, you know,
Right.
we don't have to take the low bid or anything. Like, we can just say, here, just go fix this. It's like,
That's what I mean, that's why I'm saying that
So-
if you guys are just making your money back on what you spent, it's not worth it tying you guys up
That's all.
you have enough
That's
work to do
Can-
now.
Well, can look at it and see, is it worth it to,
You call them up,
Fine.
give them the report number, and they deal with all of it, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Deal with it.
it'd be much easier to do that than what we're doing.
I'll get you a number for that, just, it's certainly easier.
If they hit the IHO.
huh?
I wonder if they hit the IHO.
They already fixed
Yeah,
it.
just tell them that.
When you found out today?
The one I only found out that they even fixed it. I did not know anything about that one.
Okay, anything else on the superintendent's report? Okay, public comments, seeing none. Okay, board comments, anybody?
I know you guys, some of you work 9 to 5 jobs, so I'll probably be in town for a couple more extra minutes, so if you want to be able to have a chance while I'm around to go see the treatment plant tonight, after your executive session, I can open it up for you. I'll be around for a little bit.
I went down there with.
Yeah, I know, you just missed me. Somebody said, yeah, Tom went down there, I'm like, I literally think I passed you, so, but, just in
Okay.
case.
I was
Went down while you were
expecting,
gone.
What?
So I went down while you were gone.
I was expecting a lot of more bells and
Haven't been.
whistles. It's kind of,
Yeah, it's really,
yeah.
It's, there's a lot of horns there.
yeah,
No, but, you know, when you guys mentioned there's a break room, it's like, okay. I was-
It's not a break room.
I was expecting a break room with lounge chairs and
It's a conference room.
color
It will not be
TV,
a
but it's
break room.
not. It's a little, to me, a little kitchen area where you can eat something. in the
yeah,
microwave.
no, there's nothing elaborate there.
It's a work plant,
Yeah.
Nope.
working facility.
Okay, anything else? Okay, we need to,
But you do gotta fix the roads, right?
What?
You gotta fix the roads.
yeah, that's regular, that's
Again,
ongoing.
that gets washed out.
Hope the road is there tomorrow morning, after tonight.
Oh, this isn't even bad.
Yeah. So we need,
Town issued kayak.
need somebody to make that that motion on 23? To convene into executive session.
Okay. The motion, we go into executive session, Mr. Chairman?
You have to read that whole quoted area.
Really?
Yep.
Yep.
Chair accepts the motion to convene into executive session under MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21,
Specifically.
specific, thank you. Reason 2, to conduct strategic sessions and preparing for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining session or contract negotiations with non-union personnel. You get it all?
Okay, is there a second?
I'll
Second.
Okay, it has to be a roll call vote.
Well, you get loud.
Yeah.
Tom Pugno, aye.
Chase Ball, aye.
Justin Dolan, aye.
Rob Sullivan, aye.
Scott Sikowski, aye.